Messi. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Just when you think he's done everything, he comes up with something even more special. Nani.
Oh, wonderful! What a goal! What a time! In what a place! What a player!
Rolling for Vardy. Onside. Jamie Vardy! History!
Leicester number 9 beat 10 and scores 11 in a row!
And then Ronaldo! What a goal by Cristiano Ronaldo! Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
And I'm muted, and we're back. See, live. That's what happens today. Live. Welcome to episode 14 of Soccer Card Collective with Dan, Luke, and Vince. You're looking a little bit different, Vincent, mate. There's something going on.
I've got significantly older and significantly less Belgian.
I see that the Aussie accent's rubbed off on you. You know,
It has.
He's been hanging around with us for too long.
Through what is it, osmosis or something?
That's it. So we're fortunate enough to have Vince from Soccer Cards Rock here, and I believe Vincent from Cardhour is going to be coming on a little bit later on. But great to have you here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really good to catch up and be on. This is awesome. I love the intro music as well. It's I don't know who put that together, but it's nice. Real
What
crisp.
an intro.
What an intro. Gets you psyched up for it. Hey, here he is.
Here he is. Where you been?
Best people always come late, yeah?
We were speculating as to why, and we thought we were still, you're still coming up with reasons why TAA is not up to scratch.
Yeah, I was preparing. It's okay now. I'm fully prepared.
He's ready.
Just get ready. Everyone in the chat, get ready.
How you been, man? All good?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm fine. Same old. Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. All right, we'll get right into it, guys.
What's up, Vince? What's up, man?
Hey,
A long time.
Yeah, too long.
Glad
Too long.
to have you here.
Oh man, happy to be here. It's gonna be fun.
You're prepared to talk about trends, right? Or
Yeah, I got sent the picture of your tier list, and I've got some questions. But
let's go.
So if you're listening to the pod or watching the video right now, basically we did a tier list of some youngsters in last week's pod, and let's just say that the backlash of that has been quite intense, and I've been waiting all week for this episode right here so that we can go through it a little bit further. We can flame our own picks. We can justify and stand behind them, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So we'll do that a little bit later in the pod. But as we do every week, we'll go through the games of the week, and we'll start out with the EPL. Southampton over Aston Villa. We'll go into obviously the Manchester derby. 2-0 for Manchester City, which, in my opinion, seemed like a very straightforward victory for them. Is that along the same lines for you guys?
Yeah.
It's worse than the Liverpool game, to be honest, because they were nowhere. Manchester United was. I think this one was worse than the Liverpool game. So I'm surprised it only was 2-0 because it was really a slaughterfest. Manchester City was like playing against like a second division team from Belgium or something. It's like, yeah, it was bad.
I watched this with a few Man United supporters, and when I say Man United supporters, I mean like diehards. They wake up for every game. Literally every game. They don't care if they got work or anything. They'll watch it. And I felt bad for them watching their team come out and play like that at home as well. Like they've seemed to change to the five in the back with the two wing backs. Just didn't work. City just played them off the park, and then they reverted back to the four in the second half. And from at least they didn't concede in the second half, but City, De Gea saved them so many. De Gea saved them so many times in the first half. It was ridiculous.
Yes, they didn't conceive in 1.5. Yes,
That's it.
Job done, guys. We can go home.
I was actually at a wedding when this was on the Saturday night, and I got back for like maybe the last 10 minutes, and we'd had like just way too many. Enjoyed ourselves a bit too much, and I was like, I watched the end of it, and I watched it, and I was like, I woke up and I was pretty average Sunday morning, and I was like, I just remember watching bits of soccer, and United were just shit. I was like, maybe I thought too much of it, and then I looked at it again, and I was like, oh, yeah, I agree with Vincent though. They were just sort of like toying with them, weren't they? It was like
like pretty bad.
Was it
Who do you support, Vince?
City.
City. Okay.
Yeah, it's although I will say, like, probably since the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I reckon I've been following like Australian, like A-League stuff more as like a supporter more than the Premier League and whatnot, just because of how easy it is to follow along when it's local, and you don't have to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch them play and stuff like that. Yeah. But as far as Premier League goes, definitely City.
Who's supporting the A-League?
Western United. Now I'm a Geelong boy. I'll support the local team. One of the 4 fans, so it's good.
One of the 4
Diamante fan. Diamante fan.
Oh man, he's unreal. He's unreal. He just takes the piss. It's ridiculous how good he is still. What he can do. I know we're not talking about this at all, but what he can do.
Take a review.
Yeah, what he can do, he'll be able to do until he's 50. You know what I mean? Just like ping passes and hit someone on the chest from like 35, 40 out. Spray in crosses, hit free kicks. Like he'll be able to do that until he wants to quit. Like it's that's one thing that I think a lot of clubs don't really look at that much, is like finding guys that their skill set will do really well when they're older and they lose a bit of their like physicality. If you're recruiting people that are good goal scorers, but they were doing that when they were young and quick and strong. It's a little bit different when they're 35 and injured all the time, but that's the quality A-League content that you're all after, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because Vincent, Belgium Vincent, keeps on talking about Mbappe, like talking about how he's an absolutely brilliant player, and I won't paraphrase your words, but that it's not necessarily a style of football that can continue on throughout the years unless you obviously dramatically change your game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that with Ronaldo as well. Like, he's not doing the same things he's been doing for the last whatever years when he was younger. It's normal that sometimes you need to adapt your game, and that's I think it's going to happen with Mbappe as well. It's like he has been very non-injured, I would say. I cannot remember the last time he was really, really injured. So that's a good thing, but I cannot think of a world where with his speed and the way he plays, he will not pick up injuries the older he gets. If he keeps running at this pace and style, it's bound to happen. I hope it's gonna be a long time before it happens, but it's bound to happen the way he plays.
Yeah,
being a Ronaldo fan. Sorry, man, you go here.
No, I was going to say he had that little injury at the end of last season, like during the semis and stuff. I could be getting it wrong, but it was only little. But yeah, I agree. Like with the amount of torque that his body must go through when he plays, like stays relatively healthy. Sorry, Luke, what were you saying?
No, sorry, I was just going to say it's been interesting as a Ronaldo fan more than anything to see his game evolve over the years from like at United to Madrid to Juventus and sort of moving into like that sort of target man role that he plays now at his age. It'd be interesting to see if Mbappe can evolve his game, maybe not the same, but in a similar way to be still like relevant with the times, I guess, and what he can do.
And when you just look back at guys that didn't make that, or even injuries got the better of them, like look at someone like Michael Owen would be a good example.
Yep.
Like so quick and so athletic when he was young and scored just so many goals, but injuries and not really adjusting the game to suit, what his body could and couldn't do later on, hurt him. And yeah, when you consider that how old was he when he won the Ballon d'Or? He was super young.
Yeah, he was young. Shouldn't have won it though, but
he still did. He still did.
Whether you like it or not, Vincent, he won it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing against it because he was a brilliant player, but he shouldn't have won that one. Anyway.
Who should
talking about teams that should have won?
I think. Sorry. One more thing.
Good segue.
It was a great segue.
Yeah, I'm going to ruin it.
It was a good segue.
I'm going to completely ruin it.
Forget I asked.
Oliver Kahn should have won it that year. There you go.
Done. Now, where's your Oliver Kahn segue?
Oh, I can't get it out now. I can't.
A goalkeeper segue? No?
I mean, you can say goalkeeper segue because surely with 25 shots on goal that there's some kind of keeper involvement, but only 4 on target apparently. What happened here?
Wasteful.
I don't know.
There were lots of chances for Chelsea to seal this one.
Typical Burnley game.
Sorry?
Typical Burnley game.
Yeah.
Like, look at the passes, look at the position, look at the... I mean, fouls, yellow cards. They did everything just to stop Chelsea from scoring that next goal. And that's a typical... And that's a great result for them. Away from home against Chelsea?
Sure.
Jesus.
100%.
So, yeah, that's what happened, I guess.
We had Hudson-Odoi playing it as well again.
Barkley.
He's been on fire.
Very lively, very lively again. But yeah, Barkley was also maybe a surprise starter. I guess.
Yeah. It's been, his career has been insane as well, Barkley. Jesus Christ. But yeah, disappointing result for Chelsea. Knowing that Liverpool, well, we're gonna talk about them, but some teams drop points, and that's when you against the Burnley team, you need to get the points. But yeah, that was a great opportunity to widen the gap, but we didn't. So,
well, they're all dropping points recently, haven't they? Like it's which is good. It means it's it's interesting, because it can be. You get a couple of these weeks where a couple of teams you expect to be challenging for the title have a couple of slip-ups and other teams don't. And next thing you know, it's a bloody, 7-point lead or something like that. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
I think it was one of these weekends across all competitions. If you look at the results from every single league I've watched, there was some kind of strange results. Well, strange. It was just one of these weekends where if you would have been a betting guy and you bet on every underdog, you would have made bank. Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting weekend.
That European hangover as well from during the week.
I mean, you just had European. You're going in a weekend, and then you have international break. So it's like, I don't know what's. I would say teams with with a big bench should be comfortable. But then again, if you watch the screen, like Liverpool lost, Chelsea drew. In other competitions, you had teams that should win games that lost, and
I think lost, didn't they? When we get to Serie A.
Who?
Yeah, they did lose.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
So you had a lot of
Mourinho was up results. And about.
Yeah, you had a lot of results. So you shouldn't expect them in a normal week. But then again, it's football. It makes it interesting.
Yeah.
And what we haven't talked about is Antonio Conte taking over Tottenham, which is very, very unexpected. I never expected him to take over a team mid-season, let alone take over Tottenham. Very, very strange in my opinion, but he must see something that I don't. I know he's got a good relationship with, I believe the way you say his name is Paratici, the CEO or whatever his role is at that club. So I guess that's what got him over the line. But what are your thoughts of Conte at Tottenham?
Vince.
It was like Nuno was kind of sent out to dry a little bit. Like that was a tough spot to be in. Like I think he's not as bad as everyone has making out the last couple of weeks. I think it's just a bad fit at a bad time. Well, it's hard. Choice? I think he was the 9th choice, but I think no one should have known he was the 9th choice.
Yeah.
Like that makes it pretty hard. But like Conte coming in mid-season is huge, and he'll take a little bit of time to properly adjust the way he goes. But a massive get for them. Like he's probably taking a step down, I would think, to coach Tottenham as bad. Like that's a terrible thing to say about a club that like Tottenham are a big club, but I think it's true. And I think he's sort of looking at this as like maybe a bit of a step for. I'd be surprised if he's there in 3 years. Like build him up, and he's got players there. It's still it's not the squad that it was a couple of years ago. Just even with player aging and progression, but they're still they're better. The squad is probably better than they've been performing. There's some quality there. I think it's a huge move. I think it's awesome. Like it could be just incredibly good. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that I think it's gonna stuff him up, because that's been his thing, hasn't it? Like he just hasn't got the backing, like financial wise, to do stuff, and now he's gonna get even less. But it'll be interesting to see how it works. I don't know what they'll do in January. I think that'll be interesting. He's got like a good 2 months or month and a half to sort of figure out what he wants, and then see if Levy will write the checks to make it happen. So it'll be interesting. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was like a bit of a pie in the sky sort of thing. So to see it happen is crazy.
Yeah, it's especially coming from Inter. Like he left Inter because they weren't going to have that much of a transfer market, and they haven't really missed that much of a step. That they replaced those big players with decent players. And it's definitely, in my opinion, a move down. So, but I don't know. I didn't really understand the thought process there. I thought he was maybe holding out for a Newcastle move at the end of the season. But anyway,
I guess it's also one of those. Like, where else was he going to go? Like, if United were going to keep Solskjaer, which it looks like they're pretty committed to, and like it definitely looked like he sort of wasn't too keen on Tottenham when there was talk of Real Madrid and PSG maybe as well, and all this other like merry-go-round happening, and then it never really happened. So he was kind of left with nothing to go to. So yeah, crazy.
Well, you still think Harry Kane's going to go for a big fee, so I don't know if they're promising him all that money that he's going to get from that to put into some other players. I'm not too sure. The stadium's done now too, so I'm guessing there's a little bit more budget there.
Would he come in knowingly that Kane is going to leave? I don't know.
I think he's probably going to stay.
You think he's going to stay?
Yeah,
I mean, if you're Conte, I mean, if they tell you, you're gonna come in and you're gonna lose Kane in the next year, I wouldn't come. It's like, fuck this shit.
I'd get the money and look elsewhere, to be honest, if I was him.
Who are you gonna replace?
It'd be positive for Kane.
He just looks like, from what he's seen this season, it just doesn't seem like his head's there.
Who are you gonna replace him with, though?
I think the summer just gone, or the off season just gone, was the one they should have.
Yeah,
like you take that. I think that's when you sell. But
who knows? See what Conte did with Lukaku at Inter. He might be able to get the same type of thing from Kane. Who knows?
That's true.
Could you imagine
good game to go
on Kane? Kane would be just a fucking beast. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh wow.
West Ham 3-2 over Liverpool is a very unexpected result. In my opinion, Declan Rice had an absolute belter of a game in this one. What were your thoughts? Did you guys get to watch it?
Didn't get to see this, unfortunately, but I think West Ham are to the top 3 now, if I'm not wrong.
I think they're second.
Second?
Really?
Second or third?
Game,
yeah.
But I didn't see this, unfortunately, so I can't say much.
I think they're third. I just
let's have a quick look at the table.
Second or third. They got third.
Third.
Same points as City. Yeah.
Well,
Jesus, they do concede a lot more, but
4 wins in a row as well.
Yeah, they've been playing very, very well this season. It's crazy. That's why the Premier League is one of the best leagues. I mean, West Ham, you see Brighton 7th, just same with In Wolves has been playing terribly. Oh yeah. I just saw it. As long as
It's already,
was a great free kick though. Was a very well taken free kick. Loved it. It was a very good one.
it's already.
And then he had an assist.
Positive. Stay a little bit later. He's geared up for the defense of the opinion. So we'll save that for a little bit later. Let's move over to Serie A. Some great games here. Empoli Genoa was a really, really nice one, 2-2. Juventus got a victory over Fiorentina in the last few minutes. Cardhour comes on and kind of does a little bit of masterstroke there. Atalanta 2-1 over Cagliari. Venezia got the victory over Roma 3-2, and Mourinho was not happy. He's been throwing his team under the bus like crazy this season, and he's done it again. He's kind of he's come out and said that it wasn't the team that was billed to him, this and that, and
27 shots away from home.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it was the first time in 21 years he lost to them, something like that.
Yeah,
Venezia, 21, 22 years.
Wow.
They didn't really have the greatest lineup for whatever reason. They're very, very thin. Outside of the starting 11, there's not much to that team. So I do kind of understand. He had Zaniolo injured, had to kind of come off the bench. And some of these players that he's got, not great at all. Brian Reynolds isn't really great, even though he's American.
How can you say such a thing? How dare you say such a thing?
He's probably undervalued. What are you talking about?
But honestly, speaking of Americans, there's an American in Venetia's side, Gianluca Busio. So if you want to check out him and you want to check out his cards, if you're after Americans, definitely check him out. He's been playing very, very well, starting 11 for Venezia. I would pick, and this could be controversial, but I would pick his cards over Pepe's cards any day of the week. You're starting for one of the top leagues in the world over Pepe, who's playing in the MLS. I would go for Busio every time. And I was having this conversation with LAFC Guna, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying the only difference between those two are that Pepe plays in a position that is very weak in the national team for US, and Busio doesn't. Okay. So they almost need Pepe to do really well.
Okay, that's a good point. If you're looking at the American national team, they don't really have a goal scorer, and that's or as a striker, as a 9 anyway, and that's probably the most important position on the field when you're only playing in a tournament with if you're lucky 6 games.
Yeah.
You need someone who can turn half chances into goals. And he doesn't do much else, but he does that.
Where does Busio play? Is he a winger?
He's more of a midfielder. He does score goals.
Okay.
Pepe knows, mate. Pepe the goal positives all over it. Lukey, did you see the Napoli game? 1-1?
Yeah, I did. Simeone's son scored again.
He's been on
He's
fire.
On fire. He's been on fire.
Jesus. What is that? 7 goal in 3 games or something?
Something like that. He's been killing. He scored 4 in 1.
Jesus.
Two sending offs as well. There were some good chances though. Osman had a good one on the half turn. He hit the post. Mertens hit the post from a free kick.
One of these games.
Yeah, much like last week, where again get the draw, but I reckon we should have won this, to be honest.
Oh Jesus! He scored 9 goals and gave 3 assists in 11 games this season.
Wow!
Damn!
On fire.
Yeah,
2 reds for Verona as well. And Napoli wore the I don't know how many games they're going to wear it for this season, but it's the Diego Maradona, we'll say memorial kit or tribute kit.
I'm trying to get a good photo of it, but it's.
I think it's the 5th kit they've already released this season. Emporio Armani, which is good, but this one's a special one, obviously for the Napoli faithful.
They're milking that license, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. The
Very
Halloween
nice jerseys,
edition. Yeah, they've all been good so far, but yeah, definitely a fair few.
Lazio over Salernitana, and the derby, the Milan derby, 1-1 between Milan and Inter. De Vrij got a bit of an own goal there, and Çalhanoğlu with the penalty. They did have a penalty that was missed by Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah.
Could have got the victory there, but this game could have gone anyway. And I think it probably should have ended up a draw. I don't know if you guys caught any of that.
I watched the highlights. Tamori loved that own goal, didn't he? Celebrating like he scored it.
He did. He
He's
did.
going nuts. But yeah, I only saw the highlights for this. It was definitely looked like an interesting game.
Absolutely. The Inter were on top for most of it, and they seemed to peter off when Barella had to come off for his little bit of a hamstring strain. One player I do want to point out is Tonali. This season he's been an absolute revelation for Milan. And, last season, he was kind of finding his feet, but he's really taken off this season. And I think he's going to be part of that starting lineup for many years to come and part of the Italy lineup as well for a long time.
I saw Kieza doing strange things this game. I normally love him. I see him as a Barella type of player. He keeps on running, man. He keeps going. He's a horse. Like, he keeps going. But he did some strange things in this game. It was like he was paid to do some strange stuff. I don't know.
Jeez, big accusation.
Normally, it's like very solid. You can rely on him. But the way they forced the penalty, like what the hell was he doing? I don't know. It was a strange game from him, I think, because normally I love the guy, but it was a strange game. It was strange to see.
Sure. Let's move over to La Liga. If it's going to come up, there we go. A very interesting game was this Barcelona game. What the hell happened here? I don't know if you guys caught this. They were up 3-0 going into the half, comfortable. And second half, they copped 3 goals. What has gone on? And they copped the last one in the 96th minute. In my opinion, this just speaks to the inexperience in that Barcelona lineup. Don't know if you guys caught any of that.
Was it? I didn't see this, unfortunately. Was it Xavi's first game though?
No,
it was. Yeah,
No,
Xavi's
it
first
was.
game, I believe.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. I thought it was still the interim coach.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was on the sideline or not.
I thought he was. Okay.
He could not. He could have been. I only saw the extended highlights, but
I believe Fati got injured again as well, didn't he? I saw that as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, he did.
Yeah, Fati for the injury. As we said in the podcast, like I think you said it, Luke, that he's a very good player, but his injuries is already like anywhere between 2 and 4 surgeries because you hear all kinds of different numbers. Like he's a great player, but 18 years old, 3-4 surgeries, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what happened. I saw Barcelona going up 3-0, and after like an hour or something after the game, I saw on Instagram it was 3-3. I was like, what the hell? Is this some kind of meme or something? But it was real, so I'm not sure. I didn't see the game.
Positive said he's made out of glass. I think he's referring to Fati.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd be very, very cautious buying his cards. Very cautious.
Yeah. Especially at the price of them. Especially at the price of them.
And he's one of these examples. Like he scores goals. Like as soon as he steps on the pitch, he scores a goal. But then again, in the same game, he goes up for an injury. Like I mean, he scores you goals, but how long is he going to be healthy for it? That's a big question mark.
Iago Aspas keeps on producing results for Celta. Very, very good player.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, Aspas
churns through. Benzema keeps churning through as well.
Benzema
with the victory 2-1 over Real. With Falcao scoring the goal for Real.
No Hazard? No problem. Guess not.
No.
Hazard is very linked to Juventus, and I don't know if I'm too happy about that.
No.
Strongly linked.
No.
In the January transfer window. I want to stay away from that at all costs.
Yeah, not sure. Camavinga get 90 minutes though.
He did, yes. Very good. That wraps up any of the games in the Bundesliga you guys want to cover. Are you happy with that?
Bayern won. I think Dortmund lost to Leipzig. It was a good game though. I watched some of the highlights. Nkunku, Jesus, he did two Ronaldo moves in the penalty area, and then he hit the post. Unfortunately, because that would been a one of these Puskas Awards type of nominees, but it was great. Was a great action. We didn't score, unfortunately.
He's been brilliant this year. Like he's been good for a while, but it seems like he sort of stepped it up a notch this year and is in a really good bit of form.
It was a great game.
Yeah, hopefully it continues because he's doing it in Champions League as well. So hopefully he can string this little bit of form into a season, I guess, or more.
PSG also won, if that's worth mentioning. They won 2-3 against Bordeaux. Again, not keeping clean sheets. Conceding 2. They concede 2 against Leipzig, 1 against Lille, 2 against Leipzig again. Keep conceding goals, but they rely on...
Back four, do you have it there?
Sorry?
Do you have the back four there?
Yeah.
PSG?
Yeah. Hakimi, Kerrer, Marquinhos, and Bernat. Bernat was taken off for Mendes in the second half.
Okay.
If they don't...
Donnarumma or...
Navas.
No, it wasn't
Navas,
Donnarumma.
okay.
If they get if they don't sort of sort out, the gap they have where the midfield should be, if they don't work that out and they get the wrong draw in the Champions League in the the knockout stages, they're just going to. I could swear, can't I? They're just going to get fucked. They're just going to get absolutely destroyed. I can do but then again, if they get the right draw, they might just destroy someone else. You know what I mean? Like if they get a team that works the ball pretty well, I feel like it could be pretty ugly for them pretty quickly. Yeah. Did I say 6 shots for PSG? Did I read that as you were skimming past? Maybe not. 9 shots, sorry.
Upside down.
Yeah. At least it's efficient.
It's interesting. And I think Messi's going to go play for Argentina in the international break, which is...
That was a part of his... Wasn't that a part of his contract? Did I read that when he made the move? That
prioritize Argentina,
he wouldn't be they basically had to put him in for every Argentina game he wanted to play.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why? His window of opportunity is closing. He won everything on club level. It just needs to try and make something of the Argentinian squad.
And at that stage, if you got a chance to sign Messi, what do you say no to? In the contract, you know what I mean? What do you say no to when it comes on your desk? It's we'd like to keep you for a league game against God knows who. You just sort of let him go. But yeah, it'll be interesting, especially as he gets, a little bit older. But I agree, he's that Argentina team, he's only really got, they're not close to one of the favorites you'd think for the next World Cup, but it's his last chance. So, he's got to make the most of it.
Yep.
That's another week in the books, guys. We move over to our next segment is, I don't know, we have actually named these segments, but we'll just go straight into it. What cards or memorabilia are we looking at the moment? I'll start with you, Aussie Vince. Take it from the top. What are you looking at in the game?
Aussie Vince.
That's what I can do. Vince squared.
Yeah, it's like a room with 2 Vinces in it. It's like one of my family reunions or something. It's like a one Christmas. Yeah, at the moment I was telling you guys off air. It's been a little bit of a crazy one. I was saying I did a lot of grading submissions. So it's one of the things where what I like about SGC, one of the things I like about them is you pay up front. Whereas I've got all these tickets at PSA and all this other stuff going on. And I'm the day that all comes through and CSG, I was if that all comes through on the one day, it's going to be just a massive hemorrhage. So ease up on the buying until then, but definitely looking into just some tickets that are coming out, looking into some more vintage stuff as well. Just trying to find, not buying anything too crazy at the moment. Not that it's not a good time to buy, but there's just nothing I really want at the moment would probably be the best way to put it. There's nothing really that I'm chasing. I was at the PWCC and won some stuff there, which was cool and a good experience, and pretty interested to see how that platform goes. But keeping it relatively relatively streamlined at the moment and limiting it to, little bits here and there that I might go to, ship my cards or, PWCC. But that's really about it. Ended up with maybe, I was saying before, because it's all extended bidding and there's 50 things going on at once. I ended up with quite a bit there. So just a lot of lower end stuff that was, you got at a good price, because when you've got extended bidding for, bloody 100 items at a time, you know what I mean? Like things slip through. So there were a couple ones that
How'd you find the PWCC ghost in the last 2 minutes of the auction?
It was crazy. It was right before the extended bidding and into the extended bidding. It just sort of went blank. And I was working from home that day. So I was on the vintage Discord, and we were all messaging each other in it. We're like, shit, is it for you too? And you'd be like, yes. What about you? Yes, it's fucked. And everyone's messaging. Then it popped back up. But to be fair, whilst you'd rather it not go balls up, they got it back in pretty quickly. I would have been stressing if I was selling anything. I would have been majorly stressing out. But the fact they got it fixed within a couple of minutes. It took ages at the start. I noticed on my phone, it just wasn't loading properly, and it wasn't working for days and days and days. So I used my computer for most of it. I actually won. One of the things I won was because I don't know if anyone listening or if you guys were on it as well, but you can't type in what you want. There's a little click and a down arrow, and you got to select the bid number, if that makes sense, a little drop down. And that's just not user friendly at all. So I put on a bid for more than it was worth. So I ended up winning it, obviously. But it was only an extra $20 or something for I was paying $40 for a $20 card or something. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, user friendly, I wouldn't exactly say that. It was a bit of a, it was definitely, the app was a mess. So using it on desktop was fine. But yeah, it was just, it was mayhem at the start. I don't think extended bidding is great for lower to mid tier stuff. It's more should just be a high end type of thing, because, if you're doing it at Goldens and it's half an hour lots and you're only bidding on top end stuff, you've kind of got some leeway there, and there's only one or two things to focus on. When it's mid tier stuff and there's extended bidding for a $10 item, it's mayhem. But yeah, that's really what I was doing. So I ended up with a couple things there, which was nice. But nothing too crazy, guys. What about you?
Just one more question. So overall, would you buy from PWCC again in the auction, or?
Yeah, I think it can only get better. I think people forget, or not people forget. I don't think people realize just how difficult it would be, and this includes PWCC because their website fucked up. This includes the guys at PWCC because their website was a fucking disaster for a week. But I think people forget how difficult it must be to get a website, not only any website, but an auction website that gets that much traffic and that has that many URLs, individual URLs going through it, and all gets traffic. And because it's an auction, it's getting traffic at the same time. And it's extended bidding, which means you have to be there at the end. So it's getting everyone basically who's bidded at the same time. I think there's always going to be those teething problems with things at the start, especially for the first one. I guess we'll see if those problems are still there in 3 months, 6 months, then it's, asking a little bit too much. But I think for the first time, you sort of expect things like that to happen. I'm not the biggest PWCC fan, at the best of times, but I think you just expect that sort of stuff to happen. And the fact that it did go down at the auction in the last couple of minutes and it was fixed within a couple of minutes, I think is pretty good. It would have been pretty disappointing if they'd have just canned it and said, we'll do it, postpone everything 24 hours. At the end of the day, it was fixed in a couple of minutes, which I wouldn't be able to fix anything like that in a couple of minutes. So they did a pretty good job of that, I guess. But yeah, I like that comment. Open a new window for each item. Definitely tried that. And that, well, actually, one thing I did like about them you could bid on items on the auction page. You didn't have to click through. So like on the page that has all the auctions, you could like click the down arrow and put your bid in. So that was actually pretty good because you could do it that way. And then it was that Modric rookie. I reckon I was the underbidder on that too. I reckon I missed out on that one too. I reckon that was one of my ones that I put a bid on and didn't get. But I'd use them again just to sort of. I think they've got another auction starting today, tomorrow. Really relatively close. Their next auction. So, or that could be the Premier one. But
just talking about that Modric, the 2008 Euro sticker rookie. I've seen quite a few of those on different. Like on eBay, I've seen a fair few as well. So there's a fair few of those on the move at the moment. They're not very expensive either for a Ballon d'Or winner. They're quite affordable. What was the question? What cards we're looking at the moment?
Yeah, what are you looking at next?
I don't know. I've been pretty quiet in terms of what I've been looking for. There was actually a Sancho Optic Holo PSA 9 today that was had my interest for a little bit because it was very cheap. Ended up going over what I wanted to pay for it, so I sort of gave that a miss. But I've got my cards coming back tomorrow with a lot of stuff coming back. Yeah, wax slabs, whole lot of Euro Mosaic. Everyone knows how much I like Euro Mosaic, so that'll be good to get in. Yeah, I might open it on Instagram Live. We'll see how it goes tomorrow and see what I got on tomorrow night. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to get that. But in terms of buying, yeah, not really that much. Yeah, sort of been taking a little bit of a break, to be honest, until I get all this stuff back and, you know, maybe decide what I want to do, if I want to move some of it or hold on to some of it a bit longer term. But yeah, we'll sort of see how we go.
Belgian vids.
I'm more selling than buying at the moment. Don't think there's too much going on to really buy players. Maybe it's not the time speculating for Champions League and maybe a World Cup already, but I'm more selling than buying at the moment.
And Aussie Vince. Oh yeah, well, I've been buying up a lot of lots, to be honest with you, because I think you can find some gems in there. Really find some gems. Some lots even in Australia. Like I got two.
So do you have an example? What sort of lot?
For example, there was an immaculate lot of for soccer, and there was Hudson Odoi, patch rookies, match worn. Narrow it down to like $2 a card for immaculate. It's pretty crazy what you can find out there. I really think that in America there's a lot of opportunity if you ship my cards, because I just don't think people know what they've got. They really crack those blasters and look for, you know, the Haalands, the Mbappes, and they throw everything out in a lot. And you can find some gems. I got like Adeyemi numbered Topps Merlin set for like $1.50. When you average it down, you can find some great you know, Camavingas, Mosaic Euros, you know, Red Splash. I've got like you can really find them on the Discords and in you know, just on eBay if you scroll through and go on the US eBay site. So that's what I've been doing and finding some gems. Really find some gems, but you've got to put the time in terms of like selling things.
Yeah, of course.
I reckon the same happens in ComC as well sometimes. Sorry, just because the people will like take out, like you said, take out the Haalands, take out all like the, you know, the ones they're chasing, and kind of just like send everything else into ComC, and you know, like you'll get those second and third tier players for relatively good prices there as well. So lots is a good choice too. I like that.
That Adeyemi you just mentioned as well, it was interesting. I was watching one of Sunday League Investors, shout out to them, their last vlog. I can't remember what show it was from. Might have been Las Vegas show. Anyway, it was just interesting to see, like they spoke to a few different soccer vendors there, and the amount of people who were looking for Adeyemi is interesting.
Right.
So yeah, it might be worth a flip there.
Yeah, I mean, and Adeyemi, I don't know what it is. He had a few standout performances, and I guess that's kind of made him the next player to look at.
Started
DDC.
quite well. this season in the league, and then he's transferred over to the Champions League. He's had a few good performances there too. So I think that's one that people are really looking at. 18 years old. I think he's 18 or 19, German. He's a striker as well. Very quick.
And Salzburg, get all the, if you come through Salzburg, it's pretty much a stamp of approval with a lot of, isn't it? Like, because they've obviously got such a track record of bringing in quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of quality, I see another good transition here. I'm going to bring up your Instagram page.
That's
Vid. So
there's a loose segue. There's a loose one.
I'll take what I can get. So basically, this is one I've been following quite a bit, and I've seen so many people repost it. So I'm very keen to ask you about it and kind of want to know what the latest is on it, because it just really stirred up a lot in the hobby when you posted it about the BGS Cristiano Ronaldo slabs that maybe not necessarily what they've seen. I'll let you take it from the top.
Yeah. So it's definitely not all my handiwork, so to speak. It was a big part of the vintage soccer Discord, and we were talking about all these Ronaldos that kept popping up. We're like, man, for a sticker that's you don't see very often, there's a lot of them popping up, and they're all in decent grades. We're like, this is just something, they look a little bit off. Something doesn't really pass the smell test here. And a few people were commenting of, they've been offered some sort of through private message and whatnot. And I went into the pop reports, and the good thing about the BGS, their pop reports, is you can click through and it gives you like a running sheet of every single card and when it was graded. So PSA just gives you like the list. But this one here, you could like click through and it gives you like almost like a big table of like the serial number, what card it is, what grade it got, all the way down from the first one. And we were just basically, and I think it says in there, basically they just, I think it like tripled or doubled, or like I have to find the exact numbers, but it just, the pops just exploded in like a 2-month period. It went from like barely nothing to heaps of stuff. So I did some digging, and it was also like this, the first post that came out was really just because there was a bunch of, it was nothing more than a bunch of auctions were ending in like an hour. And I was like, I'm just like, it would be weird to know that this is definitely ringing some alarm bells and let people bid on that. So we just like, I just like put something up there and kind of went to bed and woke up the next morning, and it was just like it exploded. I woke up to like a lot of like messages asking about the sticker. A lot of people, like I had like a couple of people like threaten to like sue me or something.
Wow.
It was busy. It was busy. A lot of nasty comments, a lot of good comments. I think a couple of people that like had them. And I think it was a lot of people that had just invested into them and realized that they've kind of like maybe misspent some cash and were trying to throw around some loose like legal threats and stuff like that. But
get their money back off you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you want me to do about it. But
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want me to do about it. But yeah, it's. I found out that was talking to a lot of people that were buying them, and when that first post came out, like more people were coming forward to me, showing me, that they bought these and they bought these from this one person, and basically like we had narrowed down at least 60 to 70 of these, potentially more, all from the one original supplier that had all been graded in this like 2-month time. And this one seller was the main source of all of them. So you had people that were obviously buying them and then reselling them, buying them, raw. Some people were buying them raw for, it's not like they were buying them for $2 or $3 a pop, knowing they were fake and then it's like grading them. They were buying them for pretty decent prices, not like what you would usually pay, like not what you'd think, but still like big money. But it was also just, I think some people, potentially had dollar signs and saw how much money they could make if they graded them and sold them, and critical thinking kind of goes out the window sometimes when that's the case. And like I had people messaging me saying like, do you think this one's fake? I, spent way more than I should have. I don't have, the money to lose on this. Like, what do you think? And I'll be like, oh, fuck, sorry, dude. Like, that's like ringing alarm bells to me. Like, did you buy it from this person? They'd be like, yeah, I did. How did you know? I'd be like, oh, man. And like every single card that came through was, if they didn't buy directly from this source, it was like someone who bought from the source. It was like he was the one like hub of all of these things, of all these stickers, and there was at least like 50 to 60, if not more, of a card that had a pop of 20 or something beforehand, like of nothing. So we were contacting BGS. They were about as helpful as you would imagine. Like, I think they're first, and I had all of this info. So I had all of this I had this massive document that I'd made up with all of it. I was like talking to people that had bought it. I was like on Zoom for hours with these people, like getting all this info. They're sending me like screenshots of like conversations they've had, like the whole kit caboodle. And I was going to send it to the guys at BGS, and I sent one to. So I messaged Nat Turner, and he basically is like, "Here's my Gmail. Like, send it to me right now." And we'll have a talk about it. So we did that, and there was one at Golden Auction. So I sent it to Ken, and he, to be like in a couple, like he looked at it. A couple of days later, they took one of the stickers down, which was submitted from the original seller. BGS came out with this like pretty wishy-washy statement, saying that they knew some people at Panini, and they had sources that everything was legit, and so on and so forth, which is like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say it's like flat out bullshit, but like they had that thing about the Haaland stickers. Remember that when they came out and said like, all of these are fake, and we're like, well, no, they're not. Like, they're just the ones that were printed second. They're 100% legit. So, like it's 100% like a case of like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing at Panini. Sometimes like Panini America wouldn't know what Panini in another country are doing sometimes. Well, that's what it seems anyway. So yeah, they released some pretty wishy-washy stuff, and then the pop just stopped. So BGS kind of at the moment they've stopped grading the sticker completely, and they've actually removed a couple from the pop as well. I think they've removed, I think it was like 9 or 10 in the past month. So I know a couple of them at least were some of the buyers that I was talking to, and they actually sent them back to BGS to have another look at them. So to be like, look, like give these a double check, because we're actually trying to sue this guy that sold it to us because he's selling us like fakes. So we're going to try, our lawyers just want to work this whole thing out. So they sent the stickers back to BGS, and then BGS took them out of the slabs, said, sorry, we can't grade these anymore. We're pretty sure they're legit, but we're going to cover our butt here basically, and remove them from the pop, and then just sent them the raw stickers back. So these guys are just like, fuck. But yeah, man, it was crazy. It's still ongoing. I think it's going to be one of those things that just kind of BGS don't really want to say that, like, and to be fair, it's like they don't need to publicly say that they've graded fakes. Like, it would help if they did, but I don't think they will. And if they're not caught, like, they don't even have to do anything publicly, but at least. But that's the thing as well. Like, you can't even chase them up because they've been sold and unsold and so on and so forth. So, it's pretty hard. They're not in a particularly easy space, but it's just an absolute disaster. So people have lost like good money, and you see those stickers now, they come out and they're just like a fraction of the price of what they were. Like, if you had a legit one that you pulled from a pack, or if you were sitting on boxes or wax or something like that, you'd be really like, you'd be concerned for the for the time being. Like, potentially, maybe down the track it turns into something where, like for a while, like the Jordan rookies were fake, and everyone kind of knew there were some fake ones in the pop, so it kind of adjusted the price a little bit. But yeah, it was definitely a hectic a hectic couple of weeks, okay, hectic couple of months, I should say, and it's still ongoing. You still see them. Like I think there was some more of these stickers that were they were for sale this week. I think they were coming up for auction. Yeah, so people were selling them. Some people were really good, and once there was talk that they were potentially fake, they kind of they'd bought them, or they'd either graded them or bought them graded, and they took the sales down. Some people kept selling them because, nothing had been proven. So a lot of people waiting for BGS to make the call and say, look, these are fake. Which, whilst I don't agree with it, to their credit, am I just going to take a listing off eBay down because some stranger on the internet told me the card might be fake, even though the grading company says it's not? That's on them. That's on BGS to fix. So, some people sold them and were selling for decent prices too. And so some people unknowingly buying, and it got a bit of traction, but I'm definitely by no means a big fish or anything like that. So I can only not that many people saw it. Just more than would usually see my stuff. It was a hectic couple of weeks, and I think for what was probably maybe the most iconic sticker of the hobby, post 2000, if not the most, the second, top two. It's scary, and it's also pretty scary when you consider that how easily it was done. Could it be done to other things? I'm sure I think it's more of a scary because they could be just the tip of the iceberg for all we know, but that's tinfoil hat talk a little bit. But man, crazy couple of weeks.
Well, and it's kind of not just a grading service being BGS, it's supposed to be an authentication service. So you would hope that when you send things over to them that you get some kind of response. And I know that Vincent's had the opposite happen to him. Isn't that right, mate? Where you've been accused of cutting stickers, is that right? And got them sent back unslabbed?
No, that was not me.
What was that? You got them back without them being slabbed. What did they say to you? Was it BGS or another grading service?
I've never had cards sent back to me without getting slabbed.
Really? You did? Was it
No, it was that were damaged.
Damaged. Okay.
I would but I'll
right, they came back damaged. Okay, sorry. It must have been someone else I was thinking about. I know that there was definitely people that sent through the stickers that
I've seen that plenty of times, that they send in stickers that were graded before and then they got them back ungraded, saying that they had no info on the stickers or cards. It's they're literally in the system. How can you not know how to grade them if they're literally in the system?
Did they take your money before that or after that?
They paid for it. They had to pay for it because they graded it. They graded it saying that they were not going to grade it.
That's fucking ridiculous.
So they had to pay for it, but they came back unslabbed. Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? I think you expect them to make mistakes because
sure.
Mistakes happen, but I think it's also owning up to it and trying to make them right. You can't expect them all to go at 100% because the amount of shit that they would get through their doors every day. You've got everything from a Cristiano Ronaldo sticker that was released in Portugal, 20 years ago. And then you've got a baseball card that was released 100 years ago and a Pokemon card that was released yesterday and everything in between. It would be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, it's a tough gig to. Would definitely be a business I would not want to be a part of. Any moment, not one part of me wants to do anything like that because it sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. But I think it's more what you do after the mistakes made, and that's one thing PSA does is they have their money back guarantees and everything. If something's proven to be a fake later on, they buy it back at market value to get the card off the market. So, and they adjust their pops and they do all that sort of stuff. But it's tricky. But I've definitely seen people like you were saying as well, Daniel. People have sent in stuff freshly pulled and got it back and said that it's adjusted and what do you do there? Like at the end of the day, like you'd almost rather that than the other way around. But you say that until it's yours that comes back.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I would rather have them make a mistake and then just come out and say, yeah, we made a mistake. We've got
100%.
those and it's a mistake, instead of like trying to work around it, not really openly communicating. Was it a mistake? Was it not a mistake? Blah, blah, blah. Just say, yes, we're human. We made a mistake and this is what we're going to do about it, instead of just trying to not take the blame and then not really communicating what's going to happen. It's like, that's how you lose trust instead of increase trust, and that's exactly what they did, and that's why people don't trust them or trust them less. It's just stupid.
They look outrageous if you're, you basically go from saying we have people on the inside, we're right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
And then a month later, you're not grading them and you're removing them from the pot and you're not saying why. Like they went from like one extreme to the other, like pretty quickly without commenting. I wish I'd have, I should have got the emails up that I sent to them. And what they sent back. And that was the ones they sent me were super like underhand and like a little bit like, I don't know. They were very like arrogant emails they sent back to me. And I just gave them this like whole document of basically like enough that you could basically pin this dude for mail fraud, including like all the way down to his like address and like photocopies of his driver's license and everything. And they were like, well, we're pretty sure we know what we're doing. We have people on the inside, so we've got it fine. And I was like, oh, but what do you do?
But then again, you talk about the transparency thing. Like if you talk about HGA, for example, and how transparent they're being and stuff like that, they get clowned for it on the internet by people. I see it on Twitter all the time. People just clowning HGA. But it's like at least they're admitting to what they've like, we made a mistake. We knew, we're learning. Yeah. So it's like it sort of goes both ways. It's like if you do say you made a mistake, you get clowned by the internet. You don't say you made a mistake, and people are getting fake shit. So it's which way you want to go.
Yeah, I've noticed because I tried to find them in something, and I think they've like removed all their like grading like Instagram accounts. Like I think because Beckett used to have a bunch of Instagram accounts, and now they just have like a Beckett Media one, I think, and that's it.
Oh, really?
So yeah, maybe they were getting cloned on the internet too much.
Well, they don't like to respond back very often. So
no.
Talking about getting flamed, that's a good segue there.
Oh, mate, I love the segues.
I couldn't wait for you, Dan. I couldn't wait for you. I'm sorry, it was there.
You saw the image at the bottom of the screen. Let's just bring that baby up. And we do have quite a few people watching at the moment. I know they've been waiting for this, which is the tier list that we did last week of
tier list.
Young players. The infamous tier list. Vincent straight away posted it to his IG and straight away got roasted a bit about it. I know DDC's ready for the he's ready for the chat about this.
He's got the popcorn out.
Yeah, so but look, I think a lot of the commentary that came from it was a lot of people, reacting immediately to it rather than watching the podcast that we did last week, and I think that's probably a lot to do with it, particularly in relation to the overhyped section, which unfortunately was at the bottom of it, which made it look like we rated those players as that they suck or they're any less than the players that were above. I think that was a lot of the issue, even though it was called overhyped, which is what it is. But there were a few players that were called out, but one player in particular got called out.
98% of the comments were about him. And just firstly, thank you everyone for leaving their comments, whether they were for or against or agreeing, disagreeing. We appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah, and by no means was this clickbait. This was literally us, going our way through it and kind of giving our thoughts. But as we said, there was one player that did kind of get a little bit of, ruffled a few feathers, and he ended up having an absolute banger of a Champions League match just a day or two later, and kind of was proving you wrong. That player was. Yeah, absolutely.
And he took it personally.
So TAA, and I did have a look at the video of Alexander Arnold, and as we were going through this, you said that overhyped, obviously, and we didn't really talk about it a lot further. So I think this is a good opportunity to do that. So I'll let you take it and kind of your thoughts and whether you'll change it now that you've had a bit of backlash.
No, I would not change it. I mean, overhyped. Yeah, I think I messaged a couple of people about this. Like, there were some people asking questions about like what is, I mean, overhyped. And I never said that he was a bad player. I was just saying he's overhyped. Like, that doesn't mean he's bad or something. I think he sucks because he proved that 2 days after the after this post that he's a great player, but he just not a good defender. And I'm not sure if that's a bad thing to say. Like, he's great going forward, but his defensive ability or whatever is sometimes very questionable. He showed that against West Ham. I can dissect 2 clips for you, just proving that, yeah, he scored that free kick, and yeah, he gave an assist. He didn't even know where he was putting that ball. But when it comes down to defense, like, he is very questionable. And some people took that very, very seriously. I'm not sure. I can take it. I still stand by the same thing. Like, he showed he can score goals, but when it comes to defense, like, one was definitely his fault against West Ham. The other one we could argue. But if you're a defender, then you're supposed to defend as well, not only go forwards. He's lucky that he's in this Liverpool system that allows him to run forward a lot, and that covers a lot of his defensive mistakes, because you don't really look at the defensive mistakes when you see Trent scored and gave an assist. Yeah, they lost, but if you then see to what he did on the pitch defensive wise, then yeah, maybe he could have prevented one, which then was 2-2. Maybe we couldn't prevent 2, which then was 2-1. So that's a whole different story. But I never said he was bad. Obviously, he's a professional football player. Who am I to say like he sucks? I would only say that about one person. Yeah, it's like some people really took it like literally too hard. Yeah.
I think that would be because it's at the bottom of the tiers. Yeah. Like,
yeah. I think that was maybe our fault putting it way down, but that's why we said like we first wanted to go with bad or sucks, and then we changed it to overhyped, and then maybe we should put it on the top or in the middle or whatever. But as I said, like, we never said they were bad. We just said they were overhyped, which still says or could mean that they're good. So,
Positive. Keep up amongst it in the chat.
But yeah, I mean, looking like Dan said it as well. Looking back, I posted it, and 2 seconds. Yeah, I mean, 2 seconds after I posted, I was like, maybe I was too harsh on some players, or maybe I put them wrong. But then again, yeah, I mean, we made it live and we talked about it. So I was like, yeah, I mean, at the time of recording, I was fine with it. Afterwards, I was like, maybe I was a bit like putting De Jong in decent. He's more than decent. So yeah, maybe afterwards.
What do you guys consider? Because I didn't watch last week. What do you guys consider world class? Do you have like a list? Like, do you have like a tipping point where someone's like, what makes a player world class? Like, I would say like top 5 in their position, but like that's maybe I have my bar too high for that.
Yeah, we didn't really have like I know we did one, Vince, back here a while, and when we had like international success, domestic success, and all of that. So, but for this one, we didn't really had anything prepared, like literally points to check every player. Because you could argue with that Greenwood isn't world class. But I just looked at his stats, his age, what he does for the team when he's on the pitch, and I think already having 7 goals more than his XG is incredible at his age. You could say that he's very good or has a lot of potential. I would agree with that. But yeah, we just went through the list live, and
yeah, for sure. No, it's just interesting to sort of see where. And the thing is, when you use words like overhyped as well, like you could. We were saying this sort of off air as well. Like you could almost say that every player on this list is overhyped to a degree.
Yeah, sure. And the same with potential. We didn't say that potential was bad. We just because for some players we said they have potential to be top of world class. but it's still only potential at this point. It's the same. You're gonna probably say that about Vinicius. I know you're more of a fan of Vinicius Jr. than I am. So you would probably put him somewhere very good or world class. I said he has potential to become that, but he's not yet there. Like same with Jude Bellingham. Like he's a good player, but we have not seen enough of him to put him world class or very good. Like he played 63 games in the first division. So how can you say that he's like all of that? There was a bit of back and forward. There was no really a standard where we went from or whatever. We just went along as we just put them in classes when we came to them. But yeah.
Got any questions, Vince? Anyone you want
no,
justified?
No, not particularly. Like it's more just as you look at the list, it's obviously like the generational talents are, they're the ones that I would consider like definitely world class, like probably top 5 in their position on the planet. If anyone else fits in that position, that boat there, probably not. Hakimi maybe, but probably not.
People were saying Alexander Arnold's better than Hakimi in the comments.
I wouldn't laugh that out of the room by any stretch. It's also like you were talking before, Vincent. Like these players are in positions that either really help them or really hurt them. It's hard to judge players, in different teams because they're playing a role in their team.
Different systems, different style, different.
People talked a lot of shit about Trent last year and saying how bad of a year he had. But his role completely changed when they were playing like we could have been their back 4 last year. They had no one. They had no one left. Like they had absolutely no one. So his role basically his role really changed. Now, you look at other players on that list and decent. The guys in there are all obviously like really good young players, and we look at world class, we look at potential, but these are all young players. So just by sheer fact that they're young players, they haven't proven it over a long time because they're young. But it's like you said, when you do these things live, like you get off it and you're like, I probably could have said that differently, or maybe like explained myself a bit better there. But I think it all encourages discussion, which is healthy.
The discussion was great, to be honest. I loved reading through it. Whether you, like I said before, whether you're against us or with us, I don't really care. I just like reading the discussion, having those interactions with people.
If there's one guy you would change, who would you change? Or two, or three.
We're gonna do it ourselves soon in a second.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't have Greenwood as world class yet. He could be definitely. I wouldn't have him there yet.
Okay.
Like if his best position is striker, and he doesn't even start as a striker for his own team, so how can he be world class? And also, I know it's next to Ronaldo, but for me, he's definitely got potential to be there. But being above his XG for 6 games doesn't really make him a world class player.
7 goals.
Yeah, in like 8 games or whatever it is. Like how many games? Like it's. Career stat. Okay. For me, like he's got to do it for a long time to be world class. Like you've got to be. This is one of the top 5 players in the world in their position. For me, that's my bar of top class. That's how I classify top class.
Okay.
Does that chuck a positives comment as well? Because this is like it's true. It's as I think you put a good comment about it as well, Dan. At the end of the day, it's all subjective to
100%.
what you think. Like I saw a comment in there saying that we overweighted Flair, and that's like when I look back at my picks, I was like, yeah, shit, like you know what, that actually might be right, but that's the way I view the game and what I a part of the game that probably I value more than other people do. So yeah, like you said, everyone's list is going to be different, but that's why it's good to just have the discussion.
Yeah, I reckon that's like the best part about doing these type of things, like these tier lists and things that get a lot of opinions about a lot of different players and get conversations going and people giving different opinions. And at the end of the day, no one's right, no one's wrong. There's more of a chance we're all wrong than any of us are right. So it's just
what they say. Opinions are like pits. Everyone's got one.
And they all stink. Yeah.
Absolutely. And while we're just going to ruffle a few more feathers now because we're going to have a little bit of a different take on it. Now,
this segment really brought to you by Canva.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He makes an appearance in every show.
Let's first announce our new sponsor of today. So no,
when we get one eventually, hopefully.
Unfortunately not. No.
Hopefully we get paid to do some of this shit at 11 o'clock on a Monday night, but anyway, it's all good. So, yeah, the thought process behind this one is, okay, so if we can't really judge talent based on what the situation is now, what is their scope? What is their ceiling going forward? How does that kind of relate to cards? Do we think that player is going to be a starter in a really top team, which would put them, very, very high up here and be a key player, so they'll put them in the top corner? Or do we think that they're just going to pay out, be a rotation bench player in a very poor side, which would put them all the way down here, and we can kind of go up and about? So I've got a whole lot of players here that we can adjust.
Trent in there?
Trent made an appearance. Our favourite player of Soccer Card Collective is here as well, Pepe. We've got Declan Rice, Teketalo as well. We'll cycle through. So we'll start off with something easy. What do we think? And how about let's make this a collective, because last time we were having one person at a time, but let's make this a collective, okay? So let's start off with Killian. Let's go with Killian. Where would we put him in 5 years' time? What is his scope? And maybe talk about his cards as well.
Are we going for club or country? Doesn't
club.
matter.
Let's go for club.
Let's go for club.
Yeah.
Obviously,
like put him pretty close to the top right. Yeah.
He's 22 right now, so that would mean 27, and most people consider 25, 30ish prime. So you would hope that he's going to be a key player and a starter for probably Real Madrid. It's going to be his next stop. So.
And the thing is, once you're a starter there, and for that big money, like, it's pretty hard to get that next move. At, like, who's buying players at 27 for Real Madrid, unless if they completely fall off a cliff.
Yeah. So it's hard to see him not be a key player anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's go with the controversial one with our second pick. It's Venetia Jr. He's playing for a very, very top side. Do you think in 5 years he'll be able to maintain that? And he's banging in goals as well.
I think he's going to be a starter.
Okay, so
I don't know if he's going to be a key player for Real Madrid, though. That's the only thing. Because think about the names they're linked to at the moment. They're linked to Mbappe. They're linked to Haaland. They've got Camavinga's come in to play in the midfield as well. I don't know if he's going to be a key player when you're surrounded by those big talents. Sort of like at City, when we say about City, and we talk about Jack Grealish, how he's, last season he was, the best player on his team, and it was very important. But he's gone to City, and there's all these other quality players around him where he's maybe his talent as much isn't maybe in the spotlight compared to the other, because it's stolen by other players or shared around. I feel like that's going to be the case with Vinicius. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think he'll start, obviously depending on who comes in, because as mentioned, if it just talks about Mbappe, Haaland, who's maybe next, because if you attract those kind of guys, it's maybe easier to attract other very talented players to come to Real Madrid as well. And he's in that winger position. So I would say he could be a starter, but I don't think he's going to be a key player.
Yeah, I think
happy where I've put him. Vince?
Yeah, I'd go with that. It's a type of thing where wingers tend to sort of skew a little bit younger these days as well, especially at that top level when they've got that bit of pace and they can do damage out wide. So while he's performing well now, like it's kind of the poison chalice of already being at the big club so young when you're doing something like this, because if you got someone who's at a lesser club, you've got to, are they going to make that move like up and be able to prove it at that level? But here you're just waiting to get replaced as well. So at a club like at Madrid, you are like, it's just the way it is. But yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Mr. Erling Haaland.
Leave him there.
Edge.
Hey, he's got to go somewhere top right as well for me.
Yeah, rotational bench there.
So we're going to put him on the right-hand side of Mbappe or on the left-hand side?
Right, I would say.
Right, yeah, right.
Okay.
But God, that's going to be, if they both go to Madrid, that's going to be scary. That's going to be really scary.
It'd be kind of like when you play FIFA or Football Manager and you buy the good players, and then the game just gets boring. And you're like, oh yeah, shit. Like, this isn't fun anymore.
Well, that's what PSG tried to do, and look what happened to them.
Well, yeah, that's true.
True.
All right.
You also need players around them to provide them with the ball, like an assist them with type of guy. So, Foden.
Phil Foden.
In 5 years' time. It's not one of those, like, he's playing at City now. Where can he really go? So I would say
he's already in the top right. Yeah, like now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cute. Well, he played. Let's see, he played 55% of the minutes, 56-ish. So he's not like playing full games.
That City squad is rotated so much.
Yeah, I was going to say,
especially-
it's pretty hard.
and it's
They rotate pretty heavily.
Yeah. I think I read a stat. It was Bernardo and Ruben Diaz last season were the two most played players. I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you have a big squad like that and you can rotate a lot, then, but you cannot say he's not a key player because he plays in that false nine sometimes, and I think that's key for them. So
And even when he shifts out wide too, he does a really good job there too.
I think he's good there.
Yeah,
he's not gonna.
He's been really good.
He's not gonna not maybe gonna start every game or finish 90 minutes, but I do think he's gonna be.
I think that's more in situation though. I don't. That's
pretty
that's not
key-ish.
So still a key player, but maybe not necessarily.
Yeah, leave him there. I reckon that's good.
There.
In 5 years, he's 26. So
yeah, it depends on depends on what you think of City, I guess, in 5 years, on how good, how big of a club they are.
Yeah.
Because like
they do have money.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Federico Kieza, and I love doing this as well. As you guys are talking, I'm moving him around, and it's a great job being the dictator. You guys, what do you think of Kieza?
What do you reckon, Dan? You go first.
I think
this is one you're passionate about.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's probably similar to Foden in a lot of respects. I'd definitely put him as a key player. If we're talking Juventus, he's pretty much their only attacking threat at the moment. So, and he creates so much. He fights for every ball, and yeah, I just would love to see him a big part of Juventus side long term, and I think that will be a good spot for him. I maybe think that he could be slightly more solidified in that starter position than Foden, because I think he's so valuable to that team, but because of that team, and probably for a West Ham. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt about it. At the moment, Juventus is a mid-tier team. But yeah, you drop him in Man City, I don't think he's starting in all of those games either. So yeah, look, I'd probably put him there. So what are your thoughts?
I wouldn't that's just me. I don't think he's gonna be that much of a key player in 5 years for wherever he goes. I think he will be a starter. He will play a lot of games, but I don't think he's going to be that of a key player. I could be totally wrong though.
Shifting more to the left, you're saying?
A little, yeah, maybe a little bit more to the top and to the left, maybe.
Would he'd be close to 30 in 5 years, wouldn't he? He's like, is he 24, 25?
He's
now?
24 now, yeah.
Well, it's very.
I don't think
tough.
I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna become a bench player.
Nah.
But I cannot see him be a key player to any team. That's just me.
Yeah. It's also the thing, isn't it? Like a lot of these players, when they get to 26, 27, they get the choice if they're going to be a key player at a worse club, or if they're going to be more of a rotational player
in a very good
at a
team.
big club. Yeah.
No,
On
not
the right.
Yeah,
On the right.
It's too harsh,
just
maybe.
Probably not as top right.
Maybe there,
Yeah?
somewhere there.
yeah, there.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, cool. I like it. I want to see someone below this line very soon. Let's get
It'll come. It'll come.
Feron Torres. How about Feron Torres? Another Man City player.
He's very good.
I think he should stay there.
Yeah,
Right here?
if he stays at City,
He's gonna be exactly that spot.
Is the bottom of bench, like the bottom of the screen, is that like a big club or is that a small like bench for a big club there, or is that bench for a smaller club?
This would be bench for a big club up the top
Okay.
here.
Then yeah, I don't hate that. I can't see him ever being a key player for City. If he moves or not's another thing. He's looking okay when he plays, but he just doesn't offer enough yet. And also, like, he probably looks his best. He's looked his best for City so far as that false nine, or as that, he almost plays as a 9 when he's there. But if City are going to play with a 9, they're probably going to try and replace him with someone. So
That was my thoughts exactly on that.
He's already a rotational player, and he's a contract until 2025. So they want to bring someone in Kane-ish, so that leaves him again out of the question. So he can be an impact sub or something, but I don't see him become a key player.
And he's one of the ones. Sorry, he's one of the ones that could, like we were saying before, like he could make that call and decide he wants to be the key guy somewhere else.
Yeah,
and he could easily be a starter for maybe
Valencia or something.
Yeah. Like he'd be a key player for quite a few Premier League sides. If not instantly, he'd be one that they'd want to build around.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that there.
Eduardo Camavinga.
It's probably one of the hardest ones because he's so young.
He's so young. Yeah.
In 5 years' time, he is 20. Let's see, 23.
Jesus Christ.
So young.
Serious?
23.
He's 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 5 years in the Madrid system. He's playing with Modric.
He just turned 18 for the record. His birthday is in November. So
I feel like he's either in the top right or he's like somewhere fucking way off.
Oh, damn.
It either works.
I'm so stupid. His birthday is in 2 days. I'm sorry. We're only the 8th of November. His birthday is in 2 days. So that means he will become like 24. 23, 24.
I think he's going to be a starter in that Madrid team. Do I think he's going to be a key player? Probably not.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? I'd put him probably about there, to be honest.
There?
That's my opinion. What do you guys reckon? It's a hard one, though. It is
hard
stuff.
What do we mean by key player? Just like, a locked-in starter, like one of the most important guys.
One of the most important on the starting 11.
Yeah.
So this way he might make the starting 11, which is obviously why he's on this side.
I think he'll be in the starting 11, but I feel like players like Mbappe and Haaland will be more influential to the team and maybe results more than what Camavinga would be.
Yeah, obviously, because he's not the attacking player. I mean,
sure. But it's also like
it's also
the type of thing where, are we going to have, so much attacking talent up there that you need, those people in the middle, are way more important now. Think of how important a good box to box or a good defensive midfielder would be at PSG right now.
Yeah.
Or like another one, I should say.
I can't say at PSG.
Yeah.
Another player is very difficult.
Are we going to leave him there? Camavinga.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I would say
I'm happy with that.
I would put him a little bit more on the right, but that's just me.
You guys happy to put him a little bit more this way?
Yeah, I think he's, he plays a position that's a key position on the field as well.
And he's very good already. So
to be honest, I really like him. I was being conservative. We'll keep him there.
If he's a starting central midfielder for Real Madrid, like it's pretty hard to be a starting central midfielder and not be a key player on a team.
Yeah, especially where he plays.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Jude Bellingham, I think that's going to be another difficult one.
This is tough.
Let's see. Bellingham. Currently 18 as well. So he will be 23. I think he will be a starter. I think he will.
Liverpool and United as well.
I think he will be more of a starter, but not a key player. Or I can be totally wrong, and he's going to be a rotational one. But it's very hard with these 8. I mean, he's 18.
To be honest, I'd put him where Vinicius is.
Whoa!
And I'd move Vinicius up, just there.
So like there?
I'd move Vinicius like up to where Kieza is, and move Bellingham.
So you think he's
to be
becoming
on
more
the
of a
line.
rotational player?
Very on the line. Very on the line. Yeah, but it depends on circumstances. Like where if he goes to Liverpool, do you see him breaking into that midfield anytime soon?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Definitely.
Doesn't think.
Sorry,
Go on.
I mean,
Go on.
I definitely. Well, he would start at United.
Oh, no, I'm not saying United. I'm saying Liverpool.
Yeah, I know.
But
Like,
he walks in.
They're not
He walks
getting
in
any
at
younger.
United.
They're not
Yeah.
getting any younger. 5 years is quite a
True,
while.
5 years as well. Yeah. Maybe he goes
Is
off
it-
other side of the line then.
Was he linked to Liverpool? Or
Liverpool
He
United.
was, yeah.
oh, Liverpool
Liverpool.
United. Damn, that's one of those. Is he gonna be a starter in a very good team, or is he gonna be more of a rotational player in a good team?
DDC says Henderson has to retire soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's obviously like more of a chance that he ends up there than anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like just because you know you only can have X amount of players, like a pretty finite amount of players that are absolute key players on the absolute best teams.
Yeah.
There's probably only, maybe not even 10 of them at the moment. You know what I mean? When you really get down to the swing of things.
And would you put Bellingham in that 10 then?
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky because he's obviously
hard
shown
one.
a lot of promise. But,
Yeah. But a lot of these
him and Cam-
Bundesliga players.
Yeah, him and
the
Camavinga are the
Dortmund-
hardest too, I reckon.
a lot of Dortmund is just sort of set up for players to succeed and do well. So I'm happy to sort of hedge the bets and go there.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put him there, where would you put Pedri?
Key starter, no? I mean,
Yeah.
Any
Look-
situation, yeah.
look how he plays, man. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
would put him somewhere there. Yeah.
And you would assume Barca are, in 5 years' time, they're going to be in a better position. They can't be in a worse position than they're now.
It can always be worse.
They can always be worse.
Looking at Barca, they had to get rid of Messi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
It's an
I'm
interesting
happy
one.
with him there.
Jadon Sancho.
A bit to the left,
Oh, man.
left,
Your boy.
left. As long as he stays,
I'm
at
gonna be
Man
off. I'm gonna be off the screen in a second.
as long as he stays at menu and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is staying, then he will be there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If it's always pretty funny because it's pretty hard to think both that Solskjaer is useless and Sancho's useless. There's a fair chance where like
One of the two.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
One
yeah,
has to
there's-
give.
yeah, like there's probably a better chance that if Solskjaer is useless, then he's not using Sancho or the other players properly, so he's not in a position to succeed. But
In 5 years, I would assume that Ola is out of menu, right?
oh my god, 5
The
hours.
next 5 weeks. Yeah.
But then again,
Nothing will be burnt down by then.
I also don't see Sancho stay there, to be honest.
It depends. I think if Ole goes and he gets a bit more time and a new philosophy comes into the club, I see him
next-
staying.
yeah.
Then I see him succeeding.
The next manager really, the next manager's make or break for him, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
If he can
for a lot of
outlast
people.
everyone else on the bench, like Lingard, like a Donny, if they all end up leaving somewhere somehow, then and he stays and he gets a new coach, then he has a chance to play. Otherwise, if they all stay like Lingard, Donny, I mean, there's only so many places on the pitch. Like if you have Ronaldo, you're not gonna take him off. If you have all the he's apparently in love with Fred McTominay. Like all these players have positions. So there's only like one really up for debate, and that's the Greenwood one, depending on how he really wants to play. Because you still have Rashford, and he would rather play Rashford than Sancho. So depends on the coach, I would say.
Yeah, it's tricky because, and obviously the Ronaldo signing kind of threw a massive spanner in the works because it wasn't on the cards until it looked like he was going to go somewhere else. So now they've had to try and fit Ronaldo into a place where there wasn't really a spot for him, and it's kind of changed everything. So it's really hard to judge. You've almost got to think about him before the United move and where you would have put him.
Ronaldo is not going to play for another 5 years at Man U. I mean,
no, not at all. But I'm like, it's hard to let the start of this season like impact your view on other players around him. Yeah.
I mean, at Dortmund, he obviously was a starter and a key player. But I wouldn't. I mean, I always said it, and I always thought that as soon as he left Dortmund, that he was not going to be that influential to a team.
That's what you're saying by putting him here, because he's not in a key player category, even though he comes off the bench. It's going to be important to a side. You're saying he's not going to be that influential. That's where you put him.
5 years. He's 26 then. Yeah, maybe. I'm okay with him putting him there, but I'm just one guy here.
Musiala.
I'd put him
Sorry,
right,
go for a look.
I was going to say I'd put him to the right, but I think I've been outvoted, so I'll keep him there. It's all good.
You mean the right of the line?
You happy with that?
Right.
You happy with that?
Yeah, I agree with Luke, but I'm happy. Anywhere here around here is just kind of the same sort of thing, isn't it? Like, it's much of a muchness if it's this line.
Yeah, put him there. Put him there. It's good.
Cool.
Right.
Musiala. That's another hard one.
If he stays at Bayern,
18. Yeah. So he's 23. 5 years.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's ready.
I would personally put him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
So that means he's not going to be an always starter, but he's going to be key.
That's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
He could almost be like, one of those guys that's there for so long, kind of in a way with Muller.
I was just about to say it.
He'd been there for 10 years and you're like, Jesus Christ, look at that career that he's had. It's like, look at all the goals he's scored and look at all he's won. And he's like, holy Moses. Because
basically, he's the follow-up guy for Miller. Like, exactly. In camp position. So he will replace Miller. Well, that's the plan.
All right, let's change it up a little bit. Let's get your boy, Vincent. I'll let you pronounce his name because I keep on stuffing it up.
Shuttle the Ketelada.
Where would you put him?
Now he's a starter and a key player for Club Brugge. But then that's, again, going back to what we've said like 5 times now. If he makes that move up, is he going to be a starter and 2, a key player? I would say the way he plays, he has a very unique style of play. But is he going to be a starter in a very good team? I mean, not many Belgians go abroad and, I mean, look at Doku. I can only name 2 at the moment, and that's Hazard he's always injured, but there's not many Belgian players that leave Belgium very young and become something great. He has that potential to become something very special, but it's hard to see him anywhere else besides Club Brugge at the moment. Because look at Doku. I mean, look at Trossard. Look at Bacchio. There's so many.
I think Doku's more due to injury this season, though, isn't he? He's only had the 3 appearances. I was actually looking just before. Is it due to injury? Really? I believe so. That was the last I'd heard of it.
I also think like we talk about all these guys of how good they're going to be, and next thing you know, you pigeonhole like 15 blokes into being top 5 players.
Yeah,
that's just not gonna happen. But I think I agree because his play style is so unique that if he's not in the right situation, it could just be just not great, or it could be somewhere where he is like that, like the curveball or the knuckleball pitcher in like baseball, where he just comes in and I don't know if I call that baseball. I don't know why I said that. That's so wrong. He's the change of pace. He's bringing on the spinner.
And you hear all these coaches and teams like in the analysis like between the lines and this, and it becomes more sophisticated and all of that stuff. And he's one of these players that really play like that. So the more advanced it gets, the more he will shine because the way he plays gets mentioned a lot more. But is he gonna be that guy in that good team? Questionable.
If it works, he's going to be a beast.
He's going to be very special, yeah.
Yeah, if he gets in the right spot, I'd love to see him at like a City system or something like that. Like he's not there yet. Like he's not good enough to be getting proper starting minutes. But if he could get in a system like that, I think that'd really
especially with guys like Grealish and stuff like that.
Exactly. And you got like Pep to work with him. I think he'd be insane.
Yeah.
But so much
has to go right.
So much has to go right for these guys. So much depends, especially when they're unique and like a lot of these guys that we've got sort of in the top towards the top, like they're so individually, like things like pace and strength and like these simple things that you can kind of find a way for it to fit into most teams. But yeah, he's a tricky one, but I like where you got him.
It's a very difficult one to do here because I've put Vinicius up here because Real Madrid's obviously a top side, but whether he's a top player, so that's why I've chucked it there. You could probably do some similar things over here, but let's just try to meander through as best we can. Doku, what are we thinking?
I think he's going to be exactly where he is in the next 5 years. I don't see.
You reckon? Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He has a lot of potential, but in 5 years, is he all of a sudden going to play for, I don't know, even a Premier League team? I don't know.
So the rumors are to Liverpool this summer.
I mean, everyone is going to Liverpool.
And Liverpool aren't spending money. Like, I think that's been overlooked a little bit. They're not spending much.
And he's a right winger, so is he going to replace Salah or something? I don't know.
Not anytime soon, no.
And wingers are always the position where the young guys come through because they got that speed, they've got that just like raw pace, can break a game open. That's where like a lot of the younger guys come up. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's not at a top club or any like if he's at a I wouldn't be too surprised to see him at like a mid-table like Premier League side or something like that.
Because even at League right now, he's not even a starter or always starting. So he's definitely not playing 90 minutes every single game. And I mean, last season he was selected and he was in the starting 11 for 26 games. But this season he was injured and he's not even completing games. So it also depends from coach and stuff like that. I can see him become more of a starter, but in a mediocre team. I don't think he's going to be that key player always starting in a very good team.
Just good about that. I'm happy to leave him there.
Happy to leave him there? Cool.
We'll
speed through a little bit quicker because it's approaching midnight here in Melbourne. Now, what do we think of Barella? Where would we put him?
Starter key.
Yeah.
I mean, for me.
And
right
what type of team?
I think he stays in the Serie A.
So I would put him there if it was me. What are your thoughts?
I'm happy to leave him there. I think he stays in the Serie A. And he's a key player and a starter for his team, which I believe will be Inter as well. I don't see him going anywhere else in the league.
He just signed a new contract.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. To 26?
Yeah.
Like
5 years? Yeah, 2026, 5 years.
I would love to see him at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as a central midfielder, how he works, and I think he would be he's a beast, but I would love to see him in a better team than Inter.
Speaking of beasts and teams that need to be improved, Vlahovic, who's at Fiorentina at the moment, being linked to Arsenal. That's probably the strongest link right now.
Shit.
Which I'm a bit worried about.
Damn.
I said I've got to sell all my Vlahovic cards because that could be the biggest curse of all time. But what are our thoughts?
It's always hard with these center forwards. They either score a ton of goals or they're just out. That's the curse of the center forward, right?
Yeah, and so much relies on the guys behind you too.
Yeah.
If you're not getting the service, he's obviously like, and center forwards as well, especially now that a lot of teams just play with, and if it's still in 5 years, playing with really just one striker. A lot of good strikers are not starters.
About there.
So I don't know where to put him.
It's a hard one because you just don't know.
His next move is massive.
He will get you goals, but will he start?
His next move is a huge. It's about everyone, but because Tottenham was the talk. Was that during the off season? Like if the Kane money was coming through, I heard Tottenham.
If it was, yeah.
Which if that had turned out with Conte there as well, like that could have been cool. But
because he refused to sign his new contract, right?
Yeah,
I think so. So is he a free agent at the end of this season, or is it?
Yeah,
No.
but they're even talking about. Oh, he's not a free agent at the end of the season. No. But they are talking about trying to get rid of him in January, which is strange.
You don't. Well, think about it. You usually get more money in January.
Yeah, it depends of like.
True.
And there wasn't that many. Yeah, I don't know.
You were saying the fans are starting to turn against him, right?
They are, yeah. But
So-
he did bag a hat trick just.
Oh, really?
ago.
So you're going to shut him up a little bit.
maybe for the time being.
But chuck Pepe on there.
Rice.
If we're wrapping it up, we need to chuck Pepe on there somewhere.
Yeah, and
All right,
Trent. We still have Trent.
Let's pick some key players here. Here we go.
Put Gio on there.
Oh, Wirtz
All right.
as well.
No, we got to go through all these, unfortunately.
Should we go quick fire?
Yeah, we'll zoom
Do
through.
a few quick fire ones.
Quick fire, Pepe. What are the thoughts?
Near Doku.
Near Doku.
Below?
Yeah.
You got to put him below Doku because
That's
the
my
guy's
opinion,
not starting in the top tier league.
Man, he does play for his MLS team, so I don't think he's going to be a bench player.
I can just say that's the way people are going to read this. Because if he stays in the MLS, he's a starter and a key player.
Yeah.
But if he goes anywhere, he's bench rotation.
What are we talking like?
So
the
then you got to put him there.
line, like how bad of a club is there? Like what are we talking? We're not talking like
FC Dallas. Oh, what do you mean?
Here's a question for you, Vince. Where would you put MLS in the tier of competitions? What number?
What number? Off the top of
Top
my
10,
head.
top 5, top 7, top 12.
I wouldn't have it. I'd have a top 20 for sure.
What?
That's
In or out?
In top
Yeah.
20, yeah.
In top 20. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's hope no one clips that and posts it on the internet.
yeah. I'd have it in the top 20 for sure.
There's only 20 competitions.
What?
Above or below the A League?
Above. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I would love
I'm
for the
joking,
A
Way
I'm
League.
joking,
above,
I'm
way
joking.
above, way above.
Oh my god, I would love for the A League to be the MLS. My god. Yeah, I can like because he's looking at moving soon now too, isn't he? Like you
Yeah.
can just see him as a player that gets
Again, he's a
lost in the
centre
shuffle
forward.
a little bit. Yeah, like he'll
I'd
start
go
for the States, but
I'd
Josh
go left
Sargent
side.
starts for the States.
I reckon left side just because he's going to move to Europe. I don't think he's going to be in the MLS in 5 years. So that's why I'd
No.
put him
Yeah.
Well, he's not-
somewhere under Doku.
Just
Yeah,
so you guys
you gotta
know,
remember
he's not even a starting player for FC Dallas. Just so you guys
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Put him under Doku. That's my
All the way
opinion.
down here
What do you
now.
guys
So that's like
right,
in a really
right.
bad team and not even starting.
I don't know.
That's
What
what
do you
I'm
reckon?
saying.
What do you reckon?
Maybe a bit more to the right, but not much.
I'm happy with that.
There, okay, all right.
Yeah.
like we're not
That's-
talking. And but for the
I-
people that for the people
I don't
watching
think that's
at home,
controversial.
we're not talking a bad team. As in like he's going to be playing like League 2 in England or anything like that. We're
No.
talking
No.
like-
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Greenwood.
Unfortunately,
Vincent's got to be up here, isn't it?
no. In 5 years' time, also again depends coach and stuff like that. I'm afraid he's not gonna start every single game. He's not even now, so I hope in 5 years maybe if Ronaldo ends up leaving and get a better coach. But I can see. Well, he's obviously very gifted. Like he's insane in finishing. He's very clinical, but maybe somewhere there.
Where he is?
I'd go right of Sancho.
Like there?
What do you guys reckon?
Yeah.
He's a world class player, and we put him there. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a
Yeah, but we're talking 5 years from now, so
look. Troy's in the chat.
Troy, how are you, man? We're disrespecting the goat. I'm sorry.
I know we aren't disrespecting the goat. What do you say? Putting him down there.
yeah, deputy goat.
Vincent breaks my heart more each week every time he discusses United boys.
I mean, I love Greenwood. I really do, but sorry.
Let's go. What else we got?
Declan Rice.
Ooh.
I think more of a key starter. No, he should
Yeah.
be.
In that gap there?
Like that?
I'd say so.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, you could also see him like playing for a really, really good side as well. And with these English guys as well, especially the top level English guys, because there's like the quota of how many English players you need.
Yeah,
If you can get a top player, you kind of pay the extra for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would put him next to who was it there? Musiala?
You put him next to him
Yeah, maybe.
on the left hand side, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or there. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, pretty good.
let him hug him. Who else we have?
Ansu
Gioreno.
Matty.
Gioreno's going to cop it in a sec.
Oh, man.
In 5 years' time, is he going to be more or less injured than now?
That's
Well,
the
if he's the same level of injured, is he even on the chart?
That's the question.
Plays every third game.
I think if there's ever someone who could technically be a key player and a bench player at the same time,
That
it's
he will be him.
it's probably him.
it's someone who
Yeah.
comes in for 20 minutes, scores a goal, and gets injured.
That's why this thing doesn't work. Bench player, key player. It's a perfect position for him right here.
It's actually him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I rate it. Leave
Yeah.
it
Like, yeah. Power sub,
Right there.
impact sub, or whatever you
there. Do
call
you
it.
wanna, wait, so if you go as far bottom right as you can, that makes him. Oh, no, because he'd be close. No, yeah, leave him there. Leave him there, sorry.
Cool.
Yep.
Let's go Wirtz.
I like him.
Another really young player, obviously.
He's 18, so 23. Now Leverkusen, not another starter for Leverkusen. Germany, obviously. And also in that cam role.
Yeah. So the thing about that position is it's really like where the best players in the world play. So if you put him as a starter, if you think he's going to be one of the best players in the world, which is what he would need to be in the top right, you put him there. But, and I'm not saying that because I don't think he ever could, because he's like doing so much at such a young age.
Yeah.
He's a tricky one.
Someone near Feron.
Because we talk about clubs that work out for young guys.
Yeah, Leverkusen. He's more. He doesn't play every single game fully, but was in the starting 11 7 of the 9 times. So
Yeah.
and he's got 4 goals and 6 assists in 9 games this year.
Yeah, I think
So-
he's like I can definitely see him starting at a team, and like I can't imagine him not being a starter.
Yeah.
Unless if he's at like a super big club and it's kind of like a rotation policy sort of thing.
You go near Vincent's boy. I'm not even going to try to say his name.
Shavla.
Up here.
Would you say that?
Yeah, maybe.
Might put him
Yeah.
to the right of him. Sound good?
Yeah.
Let's go TAA. What are we thinking? 5 years' time. His speed's starting to wear off. No, I'm joking.
Well, also, it depends on how Vince was talking about it just briefly in the pre-show. I know it's meant to be quick fire, but how the role of the fullbacks has evolved over the last 5 years. Like we saw Dani Alves and that sort of player come through, and now these new guys are coming through, like Alexander Arnold and Reece James, for example, and the rise of, say, the back three in the Premier League with the wing backs as well. In that sort of formation. Oh, what have you done there? In that sort of formation,
Sorry.
he's a key player. He's a key player starter. But does that change over the next 5 years? I think that's a factor for him too. In my opinion.
Right now, if you were to put it do this on their current position right now, he is more of a top right than anybody else, I think.
Yeah,
because he plays for the best club out of anyone here, I would say, and is one of their key players to how they operate.
Yeah. But
do you see him there in 5 years? Do you see him there in 5 years?
His situation right now makes him a key player starter.
Yeah, which is the same for all of them, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have a right back being more of a key player than these two positions here in 5 years' time. You would assume that these guys would be at a Real Madrid or the like and be the key players in their side. I don't think that TAA will be, as a right back, that key of a player to be putting him right next to these.
I can see him still at Liverpool in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's why I think there might be a reasonable spot.
Yeah, maybe put him there, yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Zhao.
Heartbreaking. He needs to get out of there. If he doesn't get out of there, then I don't know. Just put him anywhere then. Right? I mean,
is he a key player off the bench though?
He played 30% of the minutes this season, 25% starting 11, 7 games, 1 goal, 1 assist in the Champions League in 4 games.
It's interesting because he's not getting the minutes that you'd hope, but he's also not deserving the minutes that you'd hope.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, he can't just be giving him minutes
just because.
Because he has a price tag, and if there was ever a manager that wouldn't, if there was ever someone that wouldn't do it, but I can also see it just clicking because I still think he's quality.
Contract until 2026, so in the next 5 years is 26 then. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Cool. Zaniolo.
I have no idea.
I'll be honest with you. I think he's going to be over here with Feron Torres. That's my opinion. I've got a lot of faith in him, but it's waning. He's got injuries of Fati, but also he is not playing for a club that Fati is playing for as well. So probably put that there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good then. Good job.
I mean, that's coming from a guy with his top 1 PSA 10 rookie card. That's I would love for him to be up here. And mate, if there's anyone who's not pumping and dumping, that's me. Bukayo Saka.
I think next to Camavinga, maybe.
There?
Somewhere there. In 5 years' time, he's now 20, so 25. Yeah.
In 5 years' time, he'd be 20.
No, he's now 20.
Oh,
25.
He's not
25.
He's 15 years old. He's already had 100 caps for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Is it Vitz's class?
Yeah, exactly. I'll teach him. What about? Do you see him as where do you see his position in 5 years?
So hard because he plays everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he has an insane soccer IQ. He's so young and he understands the game very well. So you can basically put him wherever. I do think he's best from the left, though.
Yeah.
So, and if he plays in that left mid, does he really have a lot of competition there as a left mid? I mean, he's not that flashy player either. So he's a very solid left mid.
Yeah.
So I can see, again, as you said, will he be a key player? Probably not. Can he be one of the best left mids in the world? Maybe. In what he does, I don't know.
He's also early. he's also the type of player that if you're at a big club, a really, really big club, and you rotate a lot, he's the type of guy that you can put him in about 4 different positions and it's going to work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's maybe a little bit higher than because he I would put him a little bit higher. It would be stupid to buy someone like him and not use him. So maybe somewhere there, yeah. I really like Saka.
Giorena. You're laughing.
Poor guy.
18, so he would be 23 then.
That's still so young, isn't it?
And he's also a cam. So if he stays in the Bundesliga, he'll probably end up in not so very good team. Most of these guys don't want to stay at Dortmund either. So, and I don't see him becoming one starter for Bayern Munich or something. So, can he be a key player?
I can't imagine a key player for a top team.
No,
I can imagine a key player for a lesser side,
a smaller team, maybe. Yeah.
So maybe
a starter is the same with injuries. Like he's injured again, so maybe a bit more. What did you say, Doku-ish, but on the other side? Yeah, somewhere there. No, on the right.
No, opposite.
Yeah, but not that much of a key player. Maybe under Felix or something. Yeah, somewhere there.
Cool. And our last one is Serginho Dest.
Will be a rotational bench player.
I'm not mad at that either.
If he stays at Barca and Barca are good, he's probably not in the starting 11.
Yeah.
At this stage.
He played also as a right winger, right?
I was going to say he could be a winger too,
because I can see Trent becoming more of a midfield player too.
Yeah, there's always talk about him going into
midfield.
Center mid, because he's got the passing range.
Yeah,
but he looked pretty lost. Was it for England or Liverpool? England. I think he played a game for England there not long ago. I remember him seeing somewhere in the middle, and he looked a little bit lost. But there's still plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
Well, he's also lost on the right back when he has to defend. So
shots fired.
Yeah, maybe.
I just watched one of your videos that you showed of TAA that you sent me. It was very, very telling.
I mean, yeah, look at the last game of West Ham against West Ham. Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You picked that before. You picked him as overrated before that game too.
I mean, I'm not sure what coach said it. I think it was Southgate. I'm not sure.
I was thinking about this before. I was going to mention it before.
I'm not sure if he can put much stock in whatever Southgate says, but he is ultimately the guy who decides if he plays or not. So, and if you're talking about defending, he's not a world-class defender. Is he very good going? Is he very good going forward? I mean, look at his numbers. Of course he is. But
he's such a situational player as well because he's got everything going for him at the moment. It's why he didn't start for England. Well, he was injured, but that's why he wasn't going to start for England. Because
England needs defenders.
They play a formation where Walker is a better option there because they want someone who can transition from a 3 at the back to a 4 at the back pretty easily. And he has that, and he also has that speed, like tracking back when they push up. So, it's an interesting one, but I can definitely see him sort of moving, or at least trying to move into the midfield. But
Trent is a defender with midfielder stats.
Yeah.
So is he good? Is he a good defender? I would say no. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Still overrated.
So are we? Is there anyone that we're going to move here at all? It sounds like we're going to move.
We agree with Dest on that.
Where did we put him? Oh, there.
Put him a little bit lower. There.
Poor guy.
The Americans are copying it.
Did you still have a player down, or was that
all done, my friend?
Okay.
Just looking at this, as soon as this goes off Instagram, we're getting absolutely slaughtered again. I can just
Send me this. I'll put it on Instagram right away.
He can't wait. He can't wait.
Yeah, it's
are we going to change anything?
Like it's pretty tricky because we look at that like bottom list where like Pepe is the bottom of that starter to bench, like of how good the club is. And you imagine the bottom's like a really bad club, but we're talking like, that's still in the Premier League or in one of the top 5 leagues. You know what I mean? Like it's
I would say
I
so.
think
I feel like this is
you
gonna
need to
get-
put the parameters. You need to put
Yeah,
the
this is gonna
parameters
get
in the comments.
very taken out of context if we don't put something in the description on what it is. So we can write that up after. It's all good.
Yeah, because it's also like the thing where you could be like Shaqiri would be a good example, like a starter for a lesser club or an absolute rotation bench player for a better club.
Same with Origi. You have so many players who can make a
100%.
difference of the bench for a very good team. Doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that there's better players in their position.
Or you could be like, even look at like situational completely. Like look at Moise Kean from last year. You could be a rotation bench on a worse team and then be a starter on a good team. Like it's tricky, but I think looking at it, there's nothing that like jumps out as like that's ridiculous.
No,
I think
especially in 5 years.
I'll tell you what. Can I just put my case to something? I think maybe we should swap these two guys. In my opinion, I feel like Doku coming off the bench can be lethal, right? So I think maybe that could be key to a lot of teams. Over here. Whereas I don't think Giorane's going to be that influential. Like you've got to get him on to change a game or anything like that. Just what Doku did at the Euros was quite.
Even some of the Rennes games this season
didn't really
when he's
score
come off the bench.
Well,
he keeps defenders. He keeps defenders busy, but
I was going to say just what he does when he has the ball.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I would be happy sort of either way. I think when it comes to that sort of stuff, like when you're tossing up between if they're a bench player or a better player on a worse team, it really can be so situational.
DDC spot on there.
You've got to be clear what the parameters are.
I'm gonna put up no context whatsoever. Just put it on there.
Comment section can have a field day if you aren't clear. Yeah, they did last week. They definitely did.
I also don't hate the thought of like moving Foden up a little bit, like as far as the club goes. But that could be my like city bias talking. But like I think
I agree.
Like you could argue that he's the best player on the team in 5 years.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
How do we like that? Good.
Yeah.
Happy to leave Doku there.
I don't mind moving him over.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine either. But I wouldn't mind putting him on the right, more as a key player, even off the bench. But I'm fine with either.
Giorano staying there.
He can also be left in oblivion, like no one cares or thought. He's just one of many. It could be the case.
Yeah, he could be in the Torres zone as well, for all we know.
Yeah.
Like a rotation guy on a good team.
Yeah.
Chucky.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it.
Happy with this?
Like
Final
it.
call?
Yeah. I like it.
All right, done. I like it. We've just hit 2 hours, or we're a little bit over 2 hours. Any last thoughts on the soccer card market? Anything you guys are looking at the moment? Any sets?
Not really. I'm just waiting for international break to see who plays, who doesn't play, who comes back strong after the break. We still have Champions League that is 2 games. Still 2 games? Yeah, 2 games, and then we know who is advancing and who is not. Doesn't look good for Club Brugge or Leipzig. Doesn't look that good for who was it? Oh no, never mind. It's only like Club Brugge. But, yeah.
Not wrong, DDC. Not wrong at all.
No, not really.
No, I'm good. Nothing else to comment on. I'm all good.
Itzy, any last thoughts?
No, nothing too much for me. Just happy to be here.
What I did actually want to ask, how did your Messi go? You don't have to give us a figure, but did you get what you wanted? The ticket?
Yeah, I was really happy with it. it went well. I tried a couple things out that I hadn't tried before. Well, I tried it a couple times, but I started running like Instagram and Facebook ads to the sale as well.
Sure.
How did that go?
It's hard to tell because you would need to get like the proper code and the cookie from the Facebook ad onto the golden thing to see how many people like bid.
Pixel.
So I could count the pixel. I could count the clicks, and it was clocking out every day and spending the budget that I put on it. So I was getting the views, but you just don't know if they were converting to clicks or not. But the way I looked at it was if like one or two of those people are bidders, like that probably pays for itself if you don't put too much into it. So, and because not many people do it, the clicks were really cheap. So it wasn't super competitive. So I was happy with the result. I don't know if like I'm looking at correlation and causation and thinking it's the same thing, but I was happy with it. It was a pretty good, pretty fun experience. I've never really had anything. I've had stuff at Golden before, but not that was going for that price. So I was pretty happy to sort of follow it along, and it was pretty fun. The missus at one stage like looked over at me on like the day it was ending. She's like, "It's not gonna keep going up every time you refresh your fucking phone." Just like,
yes, it will.
Yeah, I was like, "No, with that attitude, it won't." But yeah, no, it was fun.
And maybe have a little bit of a brief about what you do, your own podcast, and more specifically your newsletter, which I get a lot of value out of.
Yeah, cheers. It's thanks for that. It's Soccer Cards Rock would be the best place to find it. Just type it into Google or Instagram and find me there. There's podcasts that come out. It was every Monday/Sunday, depending what part of the world you're in, but I don't have the commitment to do it live like you guys do, so it becomes a bit more flexible. And I try and get one a week in. Some writing when I can. There was a couple of weeks where it was a little bit hectic, but scouting reports, do some data deep dives and stuff like that as well, and just sort of have a look at the game. The writing I do is probably, I'd say, more about the sport than it is about the cards in general, usually with a bit of a card slant at the end. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and the readers come in and the listeners listen, and it's awesome, man. And you guys would know what it's like as well. Like the best part is just like the people that you sort of meet through it, and the people that contact you, and
definitely,
like the friendships you make from it is just awesome. So you learn so much doing it. So yeah, Soccer Cards Rock would be the best way, and DMs are open, so feel free to slide in and fire away, and we'll go from there.
Awesome stuff. That is another episode of Soccer Card Collective in the books with Vince, and Luke and Daniel. Have a great week. We'll catch you next week. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Soccer Card Collective on the Double Coverage Media Network. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to know when we go live. Also, feel free to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.